Hey folks, it's Rob and welcome back. Previously, we had gotten to the point where we rolled the money on our elf character. And we got 99, so 9 times 10 is 90, gold pieces to work with. And no, that doesn't generate any XP for your character, unfortunately, if you were wondering. We stopped at buying equipment. So that's number 6. And we're going to need to outfit the character, right? Depending on your DM's guidance, there may be some things that may not be available to you or be available to you that you may want to get. Uh, there may be things that you'll start with regardless of your cash. Um, Consult your DM, right? But right now, we're just no special rules or requirements. We're just doing the book, right? So I'll read the section and we'll start shopping. So, now you can spend your money on equipment you need to go adventuring. There is a complete list of equipment in the center of this book. There are restrictions on what items you're allowed to have, especially on armor and weapons. Before you go shopping, be sure you've read the full description of your character class. For example, magic user cannot wear any armor at all and can only use a dagger for a weapon, which is a very strange and strong limitation of this edition, that a magic user can't even use a staff. They are limited to literally just a dagger. Um, and again, plenty of games I've played where that has not been a specific restriction. Um, because honestly, if you're thinking of a wizard, are they holding a dagger or are they holding a staff? Or even a sword sometimes? Mm. um, they're not combat front linesmen. It's okay if we give them a staff. Honestly, darts. That's from AD&D. AD&D, you'll have like staves, darts, daggers, sometimes slings. Uh, yeah. So it would be a waste of money for this class to buy a sword or a shield. Instead, money can be saved or spent on oil, torches, and other items. Thieves, on the other hand, must buy thieves' tools to be able to open locks for their 15% chance. On a piece of scrap paper, write down all the equipment you want to buy and add up the cost. If it's more than you have, you must put something back. When you pay for your list of equipment, subtract the cost from your money and write down the equipment on the back of the character sheet. Be careful shopping. You may forget to buy rope, for example, and suddenly find a need for it during an adventure, and if you didn't buy it, you don't have it. But remember also that money can be saved for buying expensive equipment later. Only buy what you need. And sometimes party members will club together and lend each other money or buy each other equipment because, like, it does the party no good to have the fighter restricted to 30 gold pieces worth of stuff. You want the fighter in a suit of armor so he can be in front and tank those goblins, right? Because if he's wearing well, let's get into the equipment, right? Because it's in the center here. Let's see. Just, I wish I had prepared this. But I know it's for a fact it's in the center of the book here. Yeah, here we are. Complete list of weapons and equipment for this version of the game. This is by no means an exhaustively complete list of weapons and equipment. Um, and I suppose we should spend a moment to look at the elf restrictions, since we're building an elf at the moment. And I was just kind of following the dice, really, as opposed to any kind of plan. Elf. So, let's see here. So, primary requisite for elves, as we know, strength and intelligence. If a score of 13 or more in both ability scores, the character gets a 5% bonus to XP points earned in every adventure. If the intelligence score is 16 or greater, along with a strength of 13 or more, XP bonus is 10%. Just miss on that, but there's no way to adjust that up to 16, unfortunately. Armor. Elf may wear any kind of armor and may use a shield. Elf may use any weapon. So there we go. That's what we need to see. Honestly, you don't tend to run into that many elves in like full plate, but it's possible. But the main reason you don't start out in full plate is just mostly because it's expensive. Plate mail armor is 60 gold, as you can see here, although it's a worthwhile investment, and chain is 40. Leather armor is 20. A shield costs 10. The character is going to definitely need some weapons as well, and other equipment, which in this version of the game, you're not assumed to have just like whatever common camping gear you might need. You're going to need some things in the backpack, and if you didn't even buy the backpack, you don't have that, right? So let's buy some things. Let's start with the fact that we should get a sword, right? Normal sword is 10 gold. I'm just going to write 10 next to it. Don't need to write gold piece. Everything's in gold pieces, right? There are no copper pieces listed here on the price chart. So, I'm also going to think we'll pick up a bow. I don't know, bows. Elf without a bow. Does that seem right? I mean, but at the same time, oh, it would be so nice to have the plate armor, right? But I'm already spent $10 on a sword. If I spend $60 in the plate mail, I only have $20 left for other stuff. I can probably get a shield later, but again, a shield's worthwhile to go with the sword and board. But then again, if I'm gonna have a bow, maybe I should have gotten a more like a two-handed sword, or I could play against type and just go like, hey, I got myself a battle axe or a spear, right? Go Elf Quest. Yeah, get a spear. Stab, stab. Anyhow, I don't want to spend forever on this. Okay, so sling is cheap and good to start with. Yeah. Gives me something to use as a ranged weapon if I'm not in front, or if I see an enemy in the distance. And it comes with 30 stones for 2 gold. So and that way I can afford the plate, because I do want the plate. And we're not done buying stuff, because we're going to need a backpack and some rations at the very least, and preferably some kind of light source, right? The reason you usually bring a lantern is because it can be set down and adjusted. Torches are just lit fire sources. And you can't mute the light in any way. You can't like turn it away with the shutters. You can't set it down very readily. I mean, you can just toss it to the floor. But, there's hazards. Your DM may be willing to go and like, well, and then the fire spreads. But I do want plate. So I'm going to take plate. And I know that's a major investment, but $60 versus dying, right? We'll think about the shield while we consider the other items we need. We're going to want at least a backpack. Ye old handy backpack. Costs 5 gold. Let's get ourselves some... We're not traveling, so we're just going to get some standard rations, unpreserved food for one person for 1 week, right? And you just eat the stuff that's going to go off first, and then you get to the stuff that holds on a bit better. So you're eating potatoes by the end of the week, but there's still, it's cheaper, standard rations. No salt pork for me. So that's an R5. So let's see, 60, 70, 82. You can see how the money runs out fast. Tinderbox is necessary for lighting fires. A water skin, not a terrible idea to have some water with you, especially if you're going to be exerting yourself. Wolfsbane, let's leave it with the merchant right now, right? Some sacks, generally worthwhile having sacks. If your DM is playing with encumbrance, you're going to want something to put some treasure into. The lantern is 10 gold, so it's kind of out of my price range right now. So I'm just going to get torches 6 for 1 gold. And let's get ourselves a large sack for 2 gold. Right, so that's 70, 80, 2, 3, 5. Still have 5 gold pieces left. Yeah. Which I guess I'm going to spend 3 of that on the tinderbox. That leaves me with 2 gold pieces, which I'm going to hold on to so I can... Yeah. So from 90... we're down to 2 gold left. So, yeah. Scritch. 2 GP. Fun. But, it's good to have the gear. And it's good to have stuff to help you pick up loot. And cheaping on armor is not an economy. We'll try to get a shield later. So, just get back to the page here. And if I would have been smart, I would have bookmarked this so I didn't have to go flipping through the thing later. Here we are. So, we bought equipment. 7. Figure out your armor class, hit roll chart, and saving throws. A. Armor class. So, armor type. Your armor class is a combination of the type of armor you are wearing plus any adjustments due to dexterity. First, find your armor type on the chart below. So, no armor, 9 AC. That's like unarmored general people. Leather, 7. Chainmail, 5. Plate mail, 3. Shield gives you a bonus of 1. If you brought a shield, subtract 1 from your armor class number. For example, chainmail alone is AC 5, but with a shield it drops to 4. Unarmored person with a shield is an 8. Okay. Dexterity adjustments to armor class. Find your dexterity score on the bonuses and penalty table, and for every +1 bonus, subtract 1 from your armor class, and for every -1 penalty, add 1 to your armor class. This is descending armor, again, so lower is better, and the number can be negative. Our dexterity is 14. So on the chart over here, that's a +1 bonus. So our plate mail is 3, but we get an AC of 2. Right? Examples. If you are wearing chainmail and a shield, AC 4, but have a dexterity score of 15 +1 bonus, your armor class number goes down to 3. If you are wearing plate mail and a shield, AC 2, but have a dexterity score of 5 -2 penalty, your armor class goes up to 4. Remember to lower the AC number the harder you are to hit. A minus penalty to armor class actually raises the number, making you easier to hit. If your AC is even better than 0 For example, with a dexterity score of 18 and wearing plate mail and a shield, the minus numbers are used. In this case, the AC would be -1, -1. And that means basically, like minor monsters are rolling 20s to try to hit you. So here we are into the hit roll chart. Every starting character has the same chances to hit. You will not change the chart until your character gets at least a 4th level. You may find magic weapons as treasures, which will help your chances to hit as well as damage done. Copy the numbers below into the boxes at the bottom of the character sheet. Hit roll needed. So, this only goes to -1, but basically the 20s extend out for a bit. That's why it's not true THAC0. THAC0 means to hit AC 0. So, your THAC0 would be 19 here, right? Because you need a 19 to hit AC 0. And THAC0 you can use as a sliding number scale. And that works for a lot of people, but a lot of people find it very confusing. But THAC0 is not true in basic red box D&D. I'd have to get a different edition of the game to show you, but basically this stretches out with some 20s behind it. I wonder if it's in the DM's book. It does show up kind of in the monster hit chart, which I can show you. Here's the monster hit chart, and as you can see, it goes down to -6 for the Defender's Armor class. And as you can see, the 20s just stretch out, right? They kind of fill in the field in the back end here. Monsters hit dice, that's up to 1, 1 plus to 2. We don't need to get into that right now, but basically, this is the lower down, the stronger the monster, and the further over, the lower the armor class. So, the weakest monsters start hitting 20s for -1, and they just stay at 20 all the way out to -6, right? That's not true THAC0, right? True THAC0 would be 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, right? Basically functionally impossible to hit. Just as an example, what we're talking about here. When you try to hit a monster, roll 1d20. Adjust the roll for your strength and find the total on the bottom line of the chart. You hit the armor class on the chart just above the roll. Announce what armor class you hit, and the DM will tell you whether you hit or missed your target. For example, if you roll a 15, you say, I hit AC 4. So, 15, yep, that's an unmodified 4 up here, right? If the target was AC 4 or higher, AC 5, 6, etc., then you have successfully hit, and your DM won't necessarily tell you what the AC of the target is you're trying to hit. You will roll your d20. See, like I rolled a 2, right? What is a 2 going to hit? Nothing, right? We're not even going to justify the 2. Let's get something there. Okay, a 10, right? 10 would hit AC 9 on the chart. And our character gets a +1 because of strength, so we could hit AC 8. Obviously, the monster has to be pretty easy to hit if I hit. But the DM will tell me if I hit or not. Not like the monster's an AC 5. You need a 14 or better to roll, right? They will not. That's generally not what they do. Or at least not for this version of the game. So, if your adjusted total is 9 or less, then you miss, whatever your target is. If your adjusted total is 20 or more, then you hit, whatever the target is, as long as it's possible to hit it. There may indeed be things you can't hit. You will know this is the case if your Dungeon Master says you missed, even with a total of 20 or more. The adjustments to the roll are based on your strength score according to the bonuses and penalties chart above. If you have an adjustment, write it down now next to strength and remember to use it each time you make a hit roll. So, strength adjustments are for melee attacks. Dexterity adjustments are for ranged attacks. And your dexterity bonus adds bonus to your 2 hit, but not damage, while strength adds a bonus to your 2 hit and your damage. You follow? I hope so, because honestly that confuses some people. Saving throws. Your saving throws are based on your character class and level of experience. However, your saving throws will not change until you reach 4th level or higher for some classes. All your beginning saving throws are given in the description of your character's class. When making a saving throw against a magic spell, your wisdom score may cause an adjustment, which I have a -1 adjustment. Fantastic, right? Find your wisdom score on the bonuses and penalties chart and write the adjustments down on the character sheet. Examples. A thief with a wisdom of 5 needs to roll a 17 or higher to make a saving throw against a spell. A cleric with a wisdom of 18 only needs to roll 12 or better. 8. Note adjustments for ability scores. You should now have most of the adjustments for ability scores noted on your character sheet. Your strength, wisdom, dexterity, and constitution bonuses or penalties have been explained in the steps taken so far. You should double check to be sure they are correct using bonuses and penalties table. All of these adjustments, if any, should be written on your character sheet in the spaces provided for them next to the ability scores. Using the chart, fill in the bonus or penalty for your intelligence score. The charisma score uses a different chart, which is over here. Intelligence. Character of average intelligence, a score of 9 to 12, knows 2 languages, the common tongue and alignment tongue. The character can read and write those languages. If the adjustment is a bonus, the number of additional languages the character can read and write, your dungeon master will tell you what languages are available. You must choose your added languages before you play the character in a game. If an adjustment is a penalty, then the character has trouble either writing or speaking as given on the languages table. Languages can be important when you are trying to talk with a monster or to talk in private with another character. And again, the racial character classes may have additional languages that they also have in just because they are, demi-humans. For example, you can expect an elf to be able to speak Elvish, a dwarf to speak Dwarvish, but also they may have other languages in the class description that they may have. So, charisma. Your charisma will affect the reactions of others, whether monsters or characters, when you are talking to them, but not unless you are talking. If you try to hire retainers, bodyguards, assistants, and so forth, your charisma will determine the number of them that you can hire and how loyal they will be. Your dungeon master will tell you if any retainers are available and will play the roles of the retainers you find and possibly hire. Find your charisma score on the charisma adjustment table and note the details on your character sheet. So we have a 13 charisma, so it's a +1 adjustment. We can have a maximum number of 5 retainers, and they will have an 8 morale, which ain't bad. I only have 2 gold pieces right now, so yeah, probably not hiring anybody right away, but having some retainers later on could be very useful. Or I might negotiate on behalf of the party if nobody else is terribly charismatic and try to bring them on board so we have, using our pooled money, some people to help bolster our numbers, right? Whenever you're talking to another creature in the game, whether a monster or a character, tell the dungeon master what your reaction adjustment is. If your dungeon master allows the use of retainers, you will need to give your maximum number as well as the morale score, which is a measure of loyalty and courage. You will not need to adjust any of your rolls due to charisma. Only the dungeon master will need the information, and they'll probably have a note of it if this is going to be a regular thing for them. You probably only need to tell them the one time or if at all. Again, here's the languages table describing just how low intelligence scores reflect poorly upon you. Like, you're below 6, it gets, welcome to illiteracy town. So, 9. Give your character a name and alignment. Names. Your character may have a normal name like Gary or Candace, or may have a fantasy name like Felonious. Felonious is an actual real name. Or just a nickname like Eagle Eyes. Your dungeon master might have some hints. For example, if your hometown is in a forest, the DM may encourage fantasy names like Silverglade or Whisper Rain. Choose a name carefully. It should represent the character in some way, or at least be a name you like. If you give a character a silly name, you may regret it later. So yeah, if you go like, oh, there's Bobo, the clown man, you may regret becoming Bobo the clown man after his dark backstory is over. That is levels 1 through 3. Alignment. Be sure you understand what alignment is. It is explained briefly during your first adventure and covered in detail on page 59, which is like 7 pages ahead of where we are right now. Select an alignment and write it on your character sheet. Remember, your alignment is the way you actually want to play the character, not just the way the character should behave. The other characters don't need to know what your alignment is, but they should be able to figure it out by the way you play the character. Finally, get ready to play. If your character can cast magic spells, you will need to select spells before starting your adventure. Magic users get one spell to start. Clerics do not get spells until they reach 2nd level. Magic user spells are explained on pages 39 to 42, and cleric spells are explained on pages 26 to 27. Your character will be adventuring with others, so you should talk with the other players to find out something about their characters before starting. You should understand how to play in a group. This is explained on the following pages. Now that's where we carry into this. I feel like maybe we should get into alignment since we're supposed to be selecting an alignment. And honestly, it is kind of talking about alignment just right here. And group play, right? Did it say 59? Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at page 59, right? Yeah, page 59 is talking about missile weapons. Well done. Well done. Yes. Right. That's probably this here on page 55 then. Which, looking at the time, I think we'll come back to, since this is in a whole section over here. And we'll just, for the moment, fill in the little bit we have left by going back to the elf. And we'll just, talk about the spells necessary here. So, and their abilities. So, spells, number of magic user spells an elf can cast, and then the level of their power given here. Spells are explained in below under special abilities. So, first level elf, a veteran medium, gets 1 first level spell. And let's see here. Spells. Elves can use magic user spells just as magic users can. Read the description of the spell casting, spell books, etc. on page 39 to 42. Elves must obey all the rules for using magic user spells, but not the other rules for magic user class. For example, like they can't wear armor and use only certain weapons, that kind of thing. So we'll need to determine what spells the elf knows. Here's the special abilities, which are our major function of elf class, right? Elf has special vision, knows several languages, and can detect certain things better than other characters. Elves can cast magic user spells and cannot be paralyzed by ghouls. Vision. Elves have infravision in addition to normal sight and can see 60 feet in the dark. I should have just realized that before I spent freaking 4 gold pieces on light sources. Hey, you see, I'm out of practice. Excuse me. So infravision is the ability to see heat, and the lack of heat, normal and magical light, makes infravision useless. With infravision, warm things seem red, cold things seem blue, and for example, an approaching creature could be seen as a red shape, leaving faint reddish footprints, A cold pool of water would seem a deep blue color. Even items or creatures which are the same temperature as their surrounding air, such as a table or a skeleton, can be dimly seen by infravision. Languages. In addition to languages for all characters, common and alignment tongues, as explained on page 51, Elf can also speak Elf, Gnoll, Hobgoblin, and Orc, right? So those are additional languages the character definitely has. Detection. All elves can find secret and hidden doors better than other characters. If your elf character wants to search for hidden doors in an area, tell your dungeon master. The DM will roll 1d6 and and a result of 1 or 2 will indicate success if there is a door to be found. You may check once for each door. You must tell your DM if you want to look for anything. The detection is never automatic. Example, if you say, I'll check this wall to see if there are any secret doors here, DM, knowing that one is there, rolls 1d6, and honestly, as a tip for DMs, always roll the die even if there isn't one, and gets a result of 2. The DM says, yes, you find a secret door. Now, the thing is, you roll the die, and see, I rolled a 1. So, if there's one to be found, I'm going to tell the player. If there's not one to be found, I'm going to tell them, no, you didn't find one. This is a roll that the DM makes, by the way. Immunity to ghoul paralysis. All elves are naturally immune to the paralyzing attacks of ghouls. Other types of paralysis, such as from a carrion crawler or gelatinous cube, may affect them. And we got into about the spells. So, the spell section is under the magic user, and that is even more. Where are we on time? 31, 32. There's more than a few spells. I guess we're going to take a diversion into spells in the magic user class, right? That's me choosing an elf. Okay. That'll have to be next time. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great day. And, if you have, I'm by the time this is out, and I'll be able to get feedback. I'm not going to solicit your ideas for elf names, but what your thoughts are on the character creation. Please go ahead and feel free to comment, and any kind of joke, terrible names that you might come up with, please share those. Go ahead. Names you might regret that are thematically appropriate for the character and family appropriate, please. You have a great day, folks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.